The system that turned Sung Jinwoo into the most powerful being alive was never actually built for him. It was built by a dying man as his final act of revenge. Today, we are exposing the dark truth behind the system in solo leveling. And once you understand what it actually is, every quest, every level up, every reward suddenly means something completely different. For most of solo leveling, the system feels like a game. Quests, levels, stat points, rewards. It is presented to us, and to Jinwoo, as a clean, almost friendly interface helping him grow stronger. But the system was never neutral. It was never simply a game mechanic existing for convenience. It is a weapon, built with a specific purpose, by a specific person, for a specific war that had already been fought and lost long before Jinwoo ever entered that double dungeon in Episode 1. Let's break down exactly what the system really is. Secret number 1. The system was built by a dying king. The system was not created by some abstract game-like force floating in the background of the story. It was built by Ashbourne, the original Shadow Monarch, in the final moments of his existence. Ashbourne had already fought his war. Centuries ago, he led an army against the rulers, the cosmic guardians tasked with protecting humanity from threats like him. He lost. Before his defeat was finalized, knowing he could not win in his own lifetime, he made a choice. Rather than disappear entirely, he designed a system that could one day be inherited by a successor. Someone who could finish what he started. Someone who could grow strong enough to avenge him. That system needed to look harmless, approachable, almost game-like, because the person carrying it would have no idea what kind of war they were actually being recruited into. Jinwoo was never simply given power. He was selected as the vessel for someone else's unfinished war, fought generations before he was born. Secret number 2. The weakest hunter. Detail was not random. Here is the part that changes how you see the early seasons. Jinwoo being the weakest hunter alive was not a cruel coincidence the story used for an underdog arc. It mattered specifically because of who Ashbourne needed. A powerful host would have drawn attention immediately. The rulers, the very beings Ashbourne lost to, exist specifically to monitor and suppress dangerous growth in humans connected to monarch-level power. A strong, established hunter, suddenly gaining Shadow Monarch abilities would have been noticed and likely eliminated before the transformation ever completed. An E-rank hunter with almost no combat relevance was the perfect disguise. Someone the world, and more importantly, the rulers, would never think twice about. The system's early quests, framed as growth opportunities, were never really about helping Jinwoo survive. They were about keeping him alive and improving just enough, just slowly enough, to stay completely off the radar of beings powerful enough to end this entire plan in seconds. The weakness was the camouflage. The slow leveling pace everyone assumed was a gameplay device was actually a survival strategy for a war that had not even restarted yet. Secret number 3. Every reward came with a price. Nobody could see. This is the part of the system that the story is most quiet about, and it is also the most unsettling once you notice it. Every time Jinwoo leveled up, gained a new ability, or extracted a powerful shadow soldier, the system framed it as a clean transaction. Effort in, reward out. But power on this scale is never free. Inheriting Ashbourne's authority did not just hand Jinwoo strength. It tied him directly into the same cosmic conflict that destroyed Ashbourne in the first place. The same rulers. The same war. The same enemies who have existed since before recorded human history. Every level Jinwoo gained moved him one step closer to a confrontation that was never actually optional. The system never asked him if he wanted to inherit a war. It simply built him into the perfect weapon for one quest at a time, while letting him believe he was simply getting stronger for himself. That is the real cost hidden behind every reward. Jinwoo was not collecting power. He was being assembled into Ashbourne's replacement, piece by piece, with his consent obtained only because he was never told what he was actually agreeing to. Secret number 4. The system needed him to refuse to quit. And here is the final piece. The reason it had to be Jinwoo specifically beyond simply being weak and unnoticed. Ashbourne's system was not designed around talent. It was designed around persistence. Every brutal near-death dungeon, every impossible quest penalty, every moment Jinwoo should have logically given up. Those were not just dramatic story beats. They were stress tests. A system built to forge a successor, capable of finishing a lost war, needed someone who would not break under pressure that would shatter anyone else. Jinwoo's refusal to quit, even when death was the obvious and rational outcome, was the exact quality the system needed to confirm before granting deeper levels of Ashbourne's power. He was not chosen because he was destined. He was chosen because he survived long enough to prove he could be shaped into what the system needed him to become. So the next time you watch Jinwoo level up, remember what that quest log actually represents. It is not a game mechanic cheering him on. It is the final weapon of a dead king, built generations in advance, disguised as encouragement, slowly turning an ordinary man into the one thing capable of finishing a war he never chose to fight. That is the dark secret behind the system. Do you think Jinwoo would have accepted the system if he had known the full truth from the very beginning? Drop your answer in the comments. Subscribe for more solo leveling deep dives every day. I will see you in the next one.